Welcome, everyone. My name is Dina Zuckerberg, and I'm so glad you are joining us for this first broadcast in our virtual summer reading series. Whether you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can use the live chat to say hi and let us know where you're joining us from. Also, let us know when you have been brave in your life. For me, it is when I have had to have surgery. One note is that this broadcast is live and public, as are your comments. We love hearing from you and may display your questions and comments during the broadcast to send them in. So let us know where you're joining us from. I see that we have somebody joining us from Ohio. Thank you. And we have someone joining us from Westchester, New York. Thank you, Katie. So good to see you, and Clara. And hi, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us. So welcome again to those who have just tuned in. Some exciting news. We are tonight giving away 2 signed copies of Hi, I'm Me in Kindergarten to 2 lucky viewers. We'll select one winner from our list of registrants, and one winner will be chosen from participants in the live chat. So be sure to sign in on Facebook or to your Google account on YouTube and let us know that you're here. The winners will be announced at the end of the broadcast, so be sure to stick around to find out if you've won. So again, if you're just joining us, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. And we have somebody, Kim from Westchester. So good to see you. You always join us, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. And again, we're going to be getting started shortly, but again, say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. And also when you have been brave in your life. We'd love to hear that. So my name is Dina Zuckerberg, and I am the Director of Family Programs at myFace. For 70 years, myFace has been dedicated to changing the faces and transforming the lives of children and adults with facial differences by providing access to holistic, comprehensive care, education, resources, and support that paves the way for better outcomes. myFace aims to provide individuals and families with the care, tools, and information they need to successfully navigate their journey and let them know they are never alone. I am super excited to welcome tonight's guests, but first, a reminder of more read alouds that we are bringing to you throughout July and August. You can RSVP to receive invites to myFace's virtual summer series at myface.org/summer series. Now, to introduce our special guest. Kelly Vurinaris is a #1 international best-selling children's book author. Kelly is back with us today with another story about acceptance and kindness, turning her debut book, Hi, I'm Me, into a series. Kelly is a mom to a beautiful daughter with Treacher-Collins Syndrome. And like in her first book, she shares the experience her daughter and family go through in their daily life. As a mom, you want to protect your child in every possible way, but you can't always be there, especially when they're off to kindergarten. Kelly believes in kindness above all and teaching kids that if you can use your voice, your unknown confidence will shine through. Thank you. And let's bring Kelly on camera and to have her join us. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Dina. How are
Hi.
you?
Good, thank you. So glad you're joining us tonight. I can't wait.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So as someone who was born with a craniofacial difference myself and was teased and excluded growing up, I'm so glad that you have written Hi, I'm Me in Kindergarten, and we get to share your story today.
Thank you.
There's such an important message in this book. And so before you read this book, can you share with us who inspired you to write this book? Who was your inspiration?
Oh, well, my inspiration is my very own daughter. She is actually my inspiration for pretty much everything these days, but she does have a facial difference, and the way she handles herself, even at 5 years old, is so amazing to me, and I get strength just by watching her. She is so charismatic when it comes to things like this, and she has empathy towards others that her every day is my inspiration.
That's great. It reminds me of when I was introducing myself and what I go through to my niece and nephews, and to see how empathic they are and the compassion they give for others with differences. I like to think that I had something to do with that. So
Oh, I totally think you did.
thank you. And I know that your daughter will do the same. She's going to change how people view others. So I'd like to now ask you to read your book, Hi, I'm Me in Kindergarten.
Thank you so much, Dina. All
Thank
right,
you.
here we go. So, Hi, I'm Me in Kindergarten. Hi, I'm Chloe, and I go to kindergarten. On my first day, I was so excited to meet my new friends and learn a lot. I was also a little scared. I'd never had teachers before, and I didn't know anyone in my new class. Mom said, remember to say, Hi, I'm Chloe, so they'd know who I was. I'm going to ask their names too. Mom took me to the kindergarten gate outside my new classroom and said, have a fun day, sweetie. I'll pick you up when school is finished. I gave my mom a hug and off I went with my new teacher who took me into the classroom. I think I was very brave that day. When we got to our seats, the teacher asked each of us to say our name and something special about ourselves. I said, my name is Chloe and I have a new puppy. Everyone was so excited that I have a new puppy. I played at the craft table with my new friends and found I'd already knew some other kids in my class that live close to me. Later, I got to bring home my art to show my family. I told them about all the fun I had. I woke up early the next morning, excited to get ready for school. I even put on my favorite dress. At the block center, a boy said, you look funny. I know it's because I look different than he does. It hurt my feelings. I felt sad. I remembered that Mom always says everyone is different in their own special way, and I like the way I look. I also told the teacher what he had said. At dinner, I told Mom what happened and that it made me sad. Mom said, just because someone says mean words doesn't mean we have to believe them. I always tell Mom when I feel sad that so she can help me feel better. The next day, in the schoolyard, I saw a girl who was sitting by herself and looked a little sad. I went to sit with her. I shared my snack and asked if she wanted to play with me. I'm so happy I did because now we play together all the time. I really like being in kindergarten and seeing my friends every day. My friends like me no matter how I look, and that makes me happy. The end. Oh, Dina, thank you so much for letting me read my book, Hi, I'm Me in Kindergarten.
Yes, I loved it. Your daughter must be so excited. Was she excited when she saw the book the first time?
She was so excited. Actually, I did a live video, or not a live video. I did a video on my social media, and she was screaming, and because we didn't tell her that we had it arriving. So yeah, she was
Oh,
very
wow.
excited.
Very nice. So why did you decide to turn Hi, I'm Me into a series?
You know what? I actually decided I didn't initially set out to do that, but because we experience so many things on a daily, weekly basis, I thought I can share our stories with other families who are probably going through similar situations like us.
Yeah, I think that's so true. So we know that Chloe is based on your daughter. Can you share a little bit about your daughter's craniofacial difference
Yeah.
and what the characteristics of that are?
Yeah, absolutely. So my daughter was born with Treacher-Collins syndrome. Now, this syndrome can be very mild to very severe. Luckily, she is more of on the mild side. Now, what Treacher-Collins is, it's a craniofacial syndrome where certain facial features don't always form properly within the gestation period. So her cheekbones are smaller; they didn't fully form. Her jawline is set back. Her eyes do kind of drop down a little bit because of the cheekbone structure and it being absent. There are some breathing issues. Some kids can have cleft lip, cleft palate. She does have smaller airways, so it can result in sort of breathing issues and things like that. She had severe obstructive sleep apnea when she was young, and it also can result in microtia atresia, which is the absence of full ears or the opening for ears. So she does wear a hearing aid, and she's had 2 surgeries actually, where she has had her Baha implanted. So she's done amazing things in her 5 years, almost 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I too wear hearing aids, so I can relate to that.
Yes.
I just wanted to remind those that are listening to let us know what you think of her book and what you love most about it in the comments. And if you haven't already, submit your questions now and we'll share them on air. And I see we have Maricela joining us from Grand Prairie, Texas, and that you're watching, and that she shares that her child also has Treacher-Collins syndrome, like your daughter. Thank you. So now that you've shared about your daughter, but I'd also love to know, like, what are some of the qualities that you love about your daughter, and what are some of the favorite things that she loves to do?
Oh my goodness, where do I begin? She's got so many amazing qualities, but as with all 5-year-olds becoming 6, their independence. Oh my goodness. Her it's just shining through now, and at the end of the day I think thank goodness you're so independent, but while the day is going on I think oh my goodness you're so independent. But she is strong. She is opinionated. She is doing everything that a 5-year-old should. She plays with her friends now that we're allowed to play with our friends. She she plays with her friends. She plays basketball. She loves dance. Honestly, Dina, she is into performing now. So she's taking
Yeah.
music lessons and she loves to sing. So I honestly can't say enough about her. She loves
Oh.
everything about her. I just absolutely adore and love.
Well, maybe one day she'll be able to perform when we have a talent show. She can
Oh my
perform for
goodness.
us.
You know what?
Yeah,
She would hands down love that. Maybe one day she can come and read the books. She actually
I would
read
love that.
this book to her kindergarten class when it
Uh,
first came out. So maybe she can do that one day.
that would be great. So, we have a question from Zaylee, and she wants to know what has been the hardest moment and why.
Okay, so you might think I would say surgeries, but the hardest moment was one day at a park when somebody was calling her names
Oh,
and just being very mean to her. Now, I have to be thankful about it because my daughter didn't actually know that this was happening. I removed her from the situation to deal with it. But as a parent, that was my hardest moment because I witnessed somebody reacting this way to my child. And it was just about the way she looked. It had nothing to do with her personality. It was just her seeing her for the very first time and reacting. So as a parent, it's the hardest watch your children go through these situations or know how to deal with these situations
Yeah.
and not let your child be affected by it.
So if you were to do that again and be in that situation again, would you handle it differently now, you think?
I actually pulled the child aside and I had a conversation about how everybody is beautiful, everybody is different. And I'm not sure in that moment where that came from because I
Mhm.
was so upset and I hadn't written the book yet. But in that moment, I just said, everybody can look different, everyone has a difference. We are all beautiful and we are all treated beautifully, and it's to be kind. And I had that conversation with her, and then I had it with her parents. um, but I probably would do the same thing because I feel like everyone needs to know that everyone has a place
Yeah,
here and everyone is beautiful.
absolutely. We actually have a question from Stephanie is asking, what other messages do you anticipate including in new books in the series? Do you
Ooh.
anticipate doing more in the series, I guess?
Um, Other messages, I am not sure yet, but I have a few things like holiday books that I'm thinking of doing, introducing officially our new puppy that we got. So,
Yeah.
and probably the message with that book is how animals and children, how they can be best friends. And if my daughter has a really bad day at school and she's not ready to share it with me, that she can share it with our dog. And how they have that special bond, which they already do. So I think those are kind of some of the messages that I'm going to start sharing eventually. But honestly, as our life keeps going, new situations will appear, and new messages I think will appear too. But I do want to advocate for difference. I want to have a discussion around that, and have parents understand how to talk to children about other children with differences and things like that, because I don't know if everyone has ever spoken to parents about that and how to have other children react, because the way that that child reacted when they saw my daughter was not really the ideal situation. So if someone had had a conversation earlier, then that situation may have resulted differently.
It's a great point. Sometimes I think we have to educate the adults too, not just the children.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Uh, what did you? Let me ask. What advice do you have for an aspiring writer who may want to share their story?
Oh, just right from the heart, right from the truth. Honestly, I don't consider myself a writer per se. I consider myself a mom with a story to tell. So if you're writing your story, then it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. And what was one of the most rewarding moments you've had as an author?
With my first book, I received an email from a mom who has a daughter with Treacher-Collins, and she was encountering situations like this all the time, and she
Mm,
just didn't know what to do. So she wrote this really beautiful email to me explaining how the book just explained what she should be doing and how to approach things and how it was helping her and her family. And she said, I'm in tears as I'm writing this email, and it really touched me, and I thought, this is why I'm doing these books.
yeah. I always say that there's power in the shared story and knowing you're not alone. And the fact that this mom could share that with you and know that somebody else out there is having a similar experience is
Absolutely.
so powerful. So why do you believe kindness and inclusivity should be taught to every child?
It's such an important skill to have. It once you have it or you learn it, it's with you for life, and you treat everyone the way that you would want to be treated. Every Inclusivity is such an important thing, that everyone should be included. Everyone matters. Everyone has a difference, no matter if you see it or not. So everyone should be included and involved, and kindness is the way to go about that.
I agree. I think it's becoming, I know for me growing up, there wasn't so much talk about kindness and
Yeah.
inclusivity, and especially in school. And I feel like now there's so much more talk about it
Yes.
that I think, I hope that is changing how people see others in the world. Because I think we need more of that. We need more kindness. We need more inclusivity. And it's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. Um, so let me ask, what did you learn when writing this book? What did you learn about um, where do, where do you see yourself going with all these books that you've written? These 2 books and going forward.
Well, I hope to see it kind of go bigger to reach schools all across North America. I'm in Canada, so all across North America. I hope that this message can go to kindergarten classes so they can start at a young age learning about differences and taking what they've learned and growing up with that and sharing those ideas with their parents. And I feel like what I've learned from writing this book is that it opens up conversations. So I wrote this book with my daughter. She knew every bit about it, but when she saw the book and held the book, it started a conversation about her when a little boy, and like a separate story, a little boy said to her, "You look funny." And she didn't know in that moment what to do. And she came back to me and she said, "That boy said I look funny." And I said, "Well, do you look funny?" And she said, "No, I don't think I look funny." And so we started that conversation about, "Well, you're beautiful just the way you are." And then she said, "Yes, I am." So it's amazing how, like, I'm hoping it can help other families, but for our family, it's allowing for conversations.
Yeah, I think it's so important to have those conversations
Mhm.
as a family, and also to teach your children how to have that conversation with others. I
Yes.
think I know for myself, I didn't necessarily always have those tools, but I think growing up, but I think to have those tools is just amazing because it allows your child to have that voice and to have that confidence about themselves.
Mhm.
Uh, so we have a question from Maricela, and she's asking, what are other ways that you've had to advocate for your daughter?
Oh boy. Well, now that she's starting to have her own voice, she's doing a very good job on her own. But I have always advocated for her, even when she was a baby and I was pushing her in a stroller, and people would just stare at her, and I would always smile at them and say that this is my daughter, and I would kind of introduce her as that. And if they were really intently staring, I would advocate and say, "Do you have a question for us?" or things like that. But I think since day one, I've been advocating for her. And most recently, when she started school, I was advocating for her to get proper FM systems. I mean, if you have a hearing aid, you kind of know that we have FM systems so the teachers can have the microphone go directly to her hearing aid. So within the school system, I'm constantly advocating for her to get what she needs to just be a regular student in class, so she doesn't have to worry about hearing specially or being looked at differently. So advocating with teachers, with principals, other parents, other friends. So it's constant advocation.
I was going to say, it's almost like a full-time job,
It
right? It's
is, yes.
always having to think about what your child needs.
Mhm.
We actually have a question from Zaylee, and she's asking, what is your most treasured memory and why?
Oh my goodness, my most treasured memory. There is a lot. What's the one? Ah, for some reason, surgery keeps popping up in my head. So I remember when we went for her first surgery, and we were speaking with people, and they were telling me about kind of intubation and all that sort of stuff. And I remember being so upset and almost taking her and running out of the
Mm,
operating room with her. But the fact that she kind of held me and said, she actually said, "I got this." And it was amazing because
wow.
she was stronger than me in that moment. And she was okay to do that. And then she took the nurse's hand and walked
Wow.
into that room. And so that is I mean, it's a treasured memory because she was way stronger than I was in that moment.
I was going to say, she's way braver than me. Here we
She's
are
so
talking
brave.
about,
Yeah.
when have you been brave? There's a brave young
Yes.
girl
Yeah.
right there. And I was not as brave as she was, I must say.
I don't think
How
I was
many
either.
how many surgeries has she had?
She's
Sorry?
had 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Is she expected to have more probably in the?
Oh, well, we actually have another one coming up in October, which is a dental surgery of all
Okay.
of all things, but hopefully nothing until possibly high school. So
Okay.
we'll see, and in that's a jaw extraction. So we'll see how she grows over the years, and I'm praying that we don't have to, but we'll see.
That's great.
Mhm.
So what do you think the main messages that everyone should take away from your book?
Oh my goodness. The main, I have a couple. Just use your voice. Your voice can conquer all. If you introduce yourself, if you kind of speak first, that can overcome staring. And I think if you are brave in that moment, you can overcome everything. I think you can kind of try and overcome bullying, because if you present yourself with your voice, they'll say, oh, this is a person, this is someone we have to be mindful of. She knows how to keep herself present. And also, just I want everyone to know that they're important. Every single person is important. It doesn't matter how we look. You're all here for a reason, and everyone is important.
Yeah, I always, one of the things I do, I talk to students in schools, and I always say that we all have differences, whether we're short, tall, blue eyes, brown eyes,
Absolutely.
uh, and it's not just always a facial difference, but we all have differences of all kinds. And the other thing I always say that when you put kindness out there, it's like a boomerang; it comes back to you.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Kelly, so much for sharing your beautiful book with us today and coming and kicking this off for us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. And
Oh,
I hope that one day I will get to meet you and your daughter in person, and then she
that
can
would be
maybe share
wonderful.
her book. Yeah,
That would be wonderful. And Dina, thank you so much for inviting me to join you today. I had so much fun, and I look forward to more for
great.
the
And if
rest of
you
your summer series too.
Thank you, Kelly. And if you don't already own it, you can find or request her book at the local bookstore or on Amazon.com.
Amazon.com or my website, confidentlychloe.com.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Kelly.
you, Dina.
Right. Bye. So we hope to see you at our next author read aloud and Q&A on next Tuesday evening, July 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with Christine Mayer, author of The True Tall Giraffe. Don't forget to RSVP at myface.org/summer series to get emails, reminders about all the summer's exciting events. Also, join us for our next Transforming Lives webinar on August 10th, entitled Creating Building Blocks for Home, School, and Social Connections for Children with Craniofacial Diagnoses. This, I think, is going to be an amazing webinar, and so I think relevant, especially as our kids go back to school in the fall. And we have also recently launched a new monthly broadcast and podcast called My Face, My Story that you can find on Spotify, Apple, and Google podcast services, as well as on My Face's YouTube channel and Facebook channel. Our next live broadcast of My Face, My Story is on July 28th, next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And we have a new initiative designed to provide families with a unique opportunity to make an impact in their own communities while also raising funds and awareness for MyFace programming called the Wonder Project Summer Kindness Campaign. Really excited about this because it's a great opportunity to have you and your family come together, have some fun, think about ways that you can enact small and big acts of kindness while raising awareness and funds for MyFace. So it's a really great opportunity. And you can learn more about the campaign by visiting our website at myface.org. And finally, be sure to join us on September 19th for our annual Races for Faces event. It's one of my favorite events of the year. This year, we will be hosting the event virtually and in person, and potentially. And we are so excited to be together again with our supporters. To sign up and participate and to learn more about this year's event, visit racesforfaces.org. Again, racesforfaces.org. And now it's time to announce the winners of our signed books. Very exciting. If you are selected as a winner, please email me at dina@myface.org to coordinate delivery of your book. So our first winner is Kathleen H. Congratulations. And again, please email me and let me know where we should send the book. So again, dina@myface.org. Very exciting. Congratulations. And then our next winner is Maricela B. So congratulations, Maricela. And again, email me at dina@myface.org to let me know where we should send the book to. So congratulations to both of you. And thank you all for sharing your time with us today. And we look forward to seeing you next week, next Tuesday night, for the Too Tall Giraffe. Thank you.